What's going on, everybody? My name is Andy. Welcome to the channel. Today, I have a knife review. OLight did send me this knife for testing and review, and I want to thank them for sending this out for testing and review. And it's about $69.95 on their website. And if you use discount code GearRunner at checkout, you can save 10% off your order. Now, OLight is known for their flashlights. They're not known for their knives. So when they said they were going to send this out, I was a little skeptical, I have to say. I was like, I don't know what to expect from a flashlight company making knives. And once I got it, I think they probably wanted me to put this up a little bit sooner than I am, but I wanted to test it. I didn't just want to get a knife from a flashlight company and not actually carry it and see what it's like. I could have told you my initial impressions, and I will. My initial impression is once I flipped it open, it seemed very smooth. And the lockup on this is probably the best lockup I've ever seen on a folder. No lies. Now, this is a sample size of 1, but when I flipped this thing open, I was like, holy crap, this thing locks open like a vault. And you can see right here where the lock bar is on the blade. It sits pretty much perfectly for a knife that right out of the box, but there's no side to side, there's no up and down, there is nothing, and it actually shuts pretty good. There's just a little bit of grittiness in it, but that's probably from where I've carried it the last 2 weeks. It's not OLight's fault, that's more mine. But even like that, you've seen it would just drop shut with just a little bit of a shake. Again, straight out of the box, highly impressed with the lockup. Now, it does have N690 steel. That is very comparable to like 154 CM. And I've used 154 forever. Emerson used 154 in their knives forever, even when everybody else was using S30 and S35, Emerson still used 154, and this is very comparable to that. And from what I've seen over the last couple weeks, this still performs great. No issues at all. I have cut a lot of stuff with this. We'll get into that here in just a minute, but I cut a lot of stuff with this, and it performed awesome. The Rockwell is 58 plus or minus 2. It is a full flat ground blade. The blade length is 2.97 inches, so almost a 3-inch blade. The handle length is 3.96 inches. It fits pretty decent in my hand. It could be just a little bit longer for my hand size, which is a pretty good hand size, but for handle to blade ratio, it is almost perfect. One other thing I do want to show you right here, it is perfectly centered. Perfect. Again, did not know what to expect from a flashlight company making knives. They nailed it. The center is perfect. I mean, mine is just dead on. The handles are G10, and I want to show you this right now. The finish on this blade has held up amazing. I've used this knife tons. I've got some cardboard cutting in here that I can show you, and I've cut some 3/8 inch rubber hose. I've opened a ton of boxes. I've just used this knife a lot more in the last 2 weeks than I actually normally would use one of my knives, and because I just really wanted to test it, and it came through with flying colors. Again, check out the blade. I did wipe it off, but it shows no blemishes. The wear, the finish didn't wear, the lettering didn't wear. It looks just like it did whenever I got it. Now, there is a lot of stuff on the inside of it. I can show you the inside. It is dirty. I've carried this thing for 2 weeks in my pocket basically all the time, just trying to test it really good. And I think I did a good job testing it as much as I could in 2 weeks. It does come with OLight's lifetime warranty. It is a clip point blade, and it does have a liner lock, as I showed you earlier. The weight of the knife is 2.83 ounces, very, very light, under 3 ounces. You just forget you have it in your pocket. And while we're talking about pockets, look at this clip. It essentially disappears in your pocket. And that clip is pretty awesome. I've had no issues at all with it getting hung up on my pocket or something like that. The clip itself, let me get this in camera, is not countersunk, but the screws in the clip are countersunk. So there's really not much to grab onto. I've had no issues in any of the pockets. I've carried it in my work pants. I also carry it in like my Abercrombie shorts that I wear a lot, and those are very thick, and I didn't have any issues with those either. Now, it does come with several different ways to open it. One is you have your traditional thumb stud here. This is a little awkward for me, and mainly because the handle gets thinner down here at the bottom, but you can still open it traditionally. Now, I just cut my fingernails yesterday, and this is gonna suck because I cut them too short, but you can actually open it like a spider hole. Like the spider hole has, it will open that way as well. Just make sure you have fingernails when you do it. You also have the way it's intended to be open with the flipper right here. That is the way I open it. And I've never owned a front flipper knife, but you can see right here, and I'm probably going to fail at doing this, but you can actually open it with a front flipper method as well. Again, I just use the standard way, but I also want to show you this. On the front flipper part, it does have jimping. On the regular flipper part, it does have jimping. And on the back or the spine of the knife, it also has jimping. There's jimping all over this. It also has a little bit of jimping on the lock bar, which makes it a little easier to get a hold of. And while we're talking about that, I have had knives that I could not get to the lock bar. They did a superb job on being able to get to the lock bar of this and being able to shut it. I hate it when knives actually don't cut out this side of the scale enough to actually be able to reach the lock bar easily. OLight did a great job of that. Another thing I really want to talk about is their finish. Look at this. I've carried this in my pocket every day for 2 weeks. I mean, it's a little smudgy. There's just some hair line scratches on that I know is not going to show up on the camera. But normally when I carry a knife at work, the clip gets scratched all to pieces. The finish on this has held up amazing. My knife gets bumped into all kinds of totes, metal parts, all kinds of stuff at work, and it's just held up superb. I mean, this part is, of course, is in my pocket. It is tip up carry, right hand only. You cannot reverse it. It is right hand only. But this is exactly the way I carry all my knives, and the only place I really see anything, and I know that's not going to pick up, is right here. There's just a minor blemish. I really thought that this blue anodizing, which I think looks amazing, this is exactly, they've got a few of these. This is exactly the finish and style that I wanted of this knife, and I got lucky enough this is one they sent. I didn't request this particular one. This is just the one they sent. But I think this blue anodizing looks amazing. But when I got it, I thought, how is that going to hold up in everyday life? Well, it holds up amazing, at least for the first 2 weeks. And I am very hard on clips. I bent clips. I broke clips. And this held up great. You can see it is very tight, has good tension to it, and it has ample enough bend here to actually be able to use it in like tactical style pants. Now, let's get into the performance. Again, I cut all kinds of 3/8 inch hose. I've cut open boxes, and as you can see from the video I'll insert right here, I cut a lot of cardboard. I just got in a box. I actually got in Crocs yesterday or day before, and I thought I just wonder how this does. So I just set in and started cutting cardboard. It hung up a couple of times. I think that was more me than it was the knife. The cardboard was a little flimsy in a couple of spots, but as you can see, when it started cutting through, it went through like butter. And then you can see in the video where after I got done. Now this is also after all the cutting I'd already done with it. It was still razor sharp. I have not touched up this blade at all, and my wife hates it when I do this, but it is still razor sharp. This thing holds an edge like crazy. I was wondering, I've never owned a knife in N690. I thought if I hard use this and I use this for cardboard and stuff like that, how well is this thing going to hold up? And it has actually held up amazing. And like I said, it is still the factory edge that comes on the blade. So what comes in the box? It will ship in a box like this. It will just slide apart. There's like a little cover right here that will just come off. And then it has awesome presentation for a $70 knife. I've got way more expensive knives that didn't come in something like this. My Strider SMF came in like a Ziploc bag. Seriously, I bought it brand new. This comes in this little case. It is Velcro, and inside the case, it comes with a challenge coin with the knife on it. How cool is that? On the back side, it has OKnife. I'm not sure if this is brass or bronze. I don't know what this is made out of, but it does come with a really cool challenge coin, and there is a little slot in the case that it just sits in, and then your knife will be in this. On the bottom side, there is like, I didn't even get this out, I gotta be honest with you, but there is like a little owner's manual here inside this. I always keep all my boxes and everything to knives, but a lot of times I may not look at like the owner's manuals. And then the bottom, it says thank you, which is awesome. Again, and then top it says each knife is finely tuned and by hand and expertly engineered for the best possible performance. Stay sharp with your new OKnife, the OKnife team in the top, which is also pretty cool. Again, I bought very expensive knives that didn't come with anything nowhere near that. Like I said, my Strider came in like a Ziploc bag. Seriously. So, way better presentation. If I had to knock it for anything, I'm always honest with you all, 100%. I always want to tell you everything. This dip down right here can be a little difficult when you start to open it. I have big hands, and trying to get my finger placed, I try to set it on like the clip and flip it open, but that is my only ding. And it has to be that way because the way the blade swoops down, but it's a little difficult for my big hands to flip it open. I'm getting more used to it. When I first did it, I would get my hand over in the blade and it would do that right there and kind of catch it. But I'm getting more used to it now where I don't really worry about that. But everything else on this knife is pretty much awesome. There, you can see right there, I didn't get it flipped open because my finger hit it. But everything else about this knife is awesome. The lockup is probably what I am most impressed about, other than the fact of how well it's kept an edge with everything I've cut. It's just crazy. Again, I wiped off the outside, but you can see the inside has just tons of stuff in it where I've carried it. It feels good in the hand. Again, the handle could be just a little bit longer. I do have a pretty big hand, so the handle could be a little bit long for me, but I've not found it uncomfortable to cut with. Like I said before, this was a little sharp, and I was worried about that having a hot spot. So if you get this in and you're worried about like the G10 maybe not being quite as rounded, I've not noticed that being a hot spot for me. Now, I've not done like really hard use stuff with this, but again, you're talking about a knife that has under a 3-inch blade. You probably shouldn't be doing crazy hard stuff with it because, I mean, there again, 3-inch blade. But for your common EDC task, this thing has been amazing with no hot spots. Also, if you want to pick out a splinter, that tip It is sharp. I mean, that tip is crazy pointy. So you can, I mean, if you want to pick out a splint or anything, you're going to be able to do it with this. Again, I want to thank OLight for sending this. Just an awesome little knife. Way overmet my expectations. Again, if I have to say the thing I'm most impressed with, it's the lockup. I can't get over how good the lockup is on this knife. Compared to every other knife I've got, the lockup just feels more secure to me. Again, I will leave an affiliate link in the link below, or in the description below, if you want to pick one of these up, and use discount code GearRunner on any non-sale item, and you'll save 10% off anytime at OLight. I appreciate y'all watching this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you next time.